This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Oh, you didn't know we'd be here, did you? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are. We're right here on the Value of Wrestling with a special edition, a breaking edition, a break it down. Yes, we're going to break it down because today, well, it needs to be broken down because the delusional Mr. Delulu from the River of Delusion has arrived on the scene and went on a Twitter rant yet again, exposing himself. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to discuss Tony Khan, his rant on X, Twitter, whatever we're going to call it tonight, and the cringe, crazy insanity that's befallen the internet world that's broken. I think X has broken the wrestling community, has had more people involved, and woke up sleeping giants like Jonathan Coachman that you're just like, what? And I can't wait to hear what Jim Cornette's going to spill on this. But we're going to break it down right here on a special episode of Value Wrestling. This is Break It Down. This is our roundtable discussion. Join in the chat. Voice your opinion if you come in. If you're here, feel free to share your thoughts as we discuss this. Gentlemen, let's get into it. Let's get into the introductions. Of course, the legend of his time, the legend of his own mind, the one, the only. Oh, you know. And of course, it's the New Japan Pro Wrestling with its first episode today. The one, the only. Oh, you know. Yes, the first edition of the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound has gone live on Value Wrestling. So make sure you check that out if you haven't. You get a breakdown of everything that happened on New Japan Pro Wrestling. With me, I am the big time. And boy, does my head hurt after today's shenanigans, after the dancing, after everything going. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to keep the story straight. We may have to do some, calm, relaxing music of some sort, just to, get in that space. Gentlemen, how are we feeling tonight?
I was at work. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't even there.
Right, I was downstairs relaxing, just hanging with the housemates, and it's like, oh, we got a bunch of stuff happening. Oh, Lord. Breaking news.
I don't know if it's necessarily breaking news, but it was definitely like insanity came out of everywhere and people from nowhere. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan and you're following anybody on X, man, did that thing go bing, 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 because they were all adding their 2 cents. This all started today because USA Network decided to post a comment to Raj Giri, I don't know, that says, what was the cage match rating? And this sent Tony Khan on a crazy Twitter rant about outrage and insanity. Tony Khan not happy that Jinder Mahal is getting a WWE World Title shot, and the fans are not upset by it. I don't even know how to. I don't even know. I mean, you start here. Tony Khan comes out as soon as I find it. I'm scrolling through stuff. There's just so much of this. So we have Tony coming out at one point. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
I was like, I'm at work and I'm sitting there, minding my own business, loading my truck, and I feel my phone buzz, and then I start seeing my watch go off. My watch goes off when you guys start talking, and I'm like, oh no, please, no. And then I get the last message I get is, hey, we're gonna go live, and I'm like, well, just wait till I get home.
Anyways, Tony Khan put out today on X a moral victory for USA, one win for a moral victory for USA Network. It's one win more than their world title challenger Jinder Mahal has had in the past 364 days, because it's been literally a full year since he won a match. You really put AEW in our place, getting Jinder Mahal in a big match on TV show. Do it more often. This is his claim. Of course, Jinder Mahal did win, as I researched it, on October 1st against Julius Creed on NXT, so it's been a little less than a year there. Of course, this brought out the coach, Jonathan Coachman, as he said, we also used to get amused at fans who counted wins like wrestlers earned them. Hell, if Vince wanted, I could have been world champion, but the storyline didn't support it. It's about the story, clearly, not wins in a predetermined space. Thought a boss would understand that. And it goes on and on. Eric Bischoff gets in here because somebody called Mikey on the internet, Card Grade Ra, came out and said Tony Khan forgets that he literally gave Abaddon a title shot after being off AEW TV for over 1 year. The same exact situation. It's Jinder. Tony Khan or Eric Bischoff came out and said, "Is this a bot or is this true?" Tony Khan then responded to Eric Bischoff, "No, not true at all. Abaddon returned to AEW. Plus, then they won a 4-way match on TNT against other great wrestlers, because great is Tony Khan's favorite word, to earn a title shot, in which is completely different than someone going a full year losing every match they're in, plus getting a title shot without a single win." Which responded Tony Khan to tell Eric Bischoff, "Reading would be your friend, Eric." Eric then said, "Oh, kid, my reading comprehension skills are wizard-like. By the way, that was one of Dave Meltzer's wicked comebacks whenever he'd get called out on his BS. Coincidence, or are you all real, or are you really that deep?" Then we got Tony Khan responding to that with a meme to Eric Bischoff. Well, no, we got the other Tony Khan, a double standard. Tony Khan mad about the double standard because he goes at 7:30 Hook, who is Hook, his 28-1 career record on winning streaks calls out champion. A logical challenge sparks outrage. So a lot of people are upset because on Collision, a show that nobody's watching, Hook came out and did a promo package where he wants to challenge Samoa Joe at some point in the line for the World Championship because Hook wants titles. Cool, great story, possibly, but it's not the right time, nor has Hook really, unfortunately, in those 28-1 win-loss records, really faced anybody of main event caliber, at least on one-on-one matches. Like, he hasn't really been put into the main event picture. He's been dancing with Wheeler Yuta and other guys with the FTW title and having matches with Rod Van Dam, which is not really going to push him over. But Tony Khan continued. Jinder has literally lost every single match he is in for the past year and immediately gets a title shot. Where is the rage? Tony Khan upset about the double standard. Here, Bischoff basically puts a clown emoji in response to that. Tony Khan replies with a picture meme that says, "Get out of my sight, you miserable has-been." And, so we get a tweet from the USA Network. Nothing with WWE, not a WWE source, just USA Network talking about CageMatch.net, which is a fan base polling that about 100 people come on and rate a match or whatever the rating system is. I don't know how many people know about that site. I didn't know about it until today. And so Tony Khan gets upset because Tony Khan has mentioned Cage Match in the past. I guess that's where he gets his fan base that he loves, that recognize what he does. I guess they give him good ratings on his matches. I don't know. But that's where we're at. Tony Khan gets upset. He tweets. Then we start talking about matches. We talk about Abaddon. Now, Tony Khan comparing Abaddon to Jinder Mahal. Here's the difference. Jinder Mahal did win a match on October 1st of last year against Julius Creed. Abaddon hadn't been on TV, came in for Halloween in a street fight and lost that match, if I remember correctly, because we were complaining about how she can lose a match and then get into a number one contenders match for the women's title. Yes, you put her in a match that was labeled a title match because that's all you know how to do, Tony. You just throw people in matches to say, "Oh, there's the number one contender." You can't write storylines. Now, Jinder Mahal hasn't relatively been on the main roster TV. He's been also running around within this year, but he's been on NXT doing his thing, winning, losing, and he's lost most of his matches over the last year. Cool. He's been brought up to the main roster. He was on TV last week to basically irk the fans. We knew a big surprise was coming, a former WWE champion. They brought out Jinder. Triple H knew how to play us to make us all go, "Oh, is this what we're going to get?" And it worked. And then you brought out The Rock. The Rock got the biggest pop, and Jinder Mahal was part of The Rock and the most viewed segment on YouTube then. So, wham. When does Jinder Mahal get back? He gets to come back out and confront Seth Rollins. They have a back and forth. That was completely honest that Jinder's been overlooked because it's by choice. People overlook Jinder because we're not fans of Jinder. We don't really care who's Jinder. Jinder's never really been built to be anything special, but he is a former WWE champion. He won the title against Randy Orton. He has been a champion. Abaddon, not a champion in AEW as far as I know. We're not talking about other places, but on AEW, not been a champion. So she doesn't have that to go on. Jinder does kind of have that to go on. Whether we like that idea or not is secondary to it. Secondly, him and Seth Rollins have history. Thirdly, they gave you a perfect reason there. Whether it's winning a match or a heelish Jinder attacks a babyface Seth Rollins is like, oh, fine, I want a match. I'll put my title on it because Seth Rollins is the defending champion. So you want us to rage because they bring Jack Jinder Mahal and immediately give him a world title match. But you get upset because we kind of go, it doesn't make sense with Abaddon. You brought Abaddon back for a Halloween match that she lost, but then she got to be in a world title match after she lost. So tell me really the difference. Your way was just book a match. WWE in this situation, Jinder attacked Seth. Seth wants revenge on Jinder for attacking him from behind. We get a title. Oh, my mic cut off at some point. What was the last thing I said?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I know. My mic cut off for some stupid reason. What was the last thing you guys heard me say?
We were talking about you going through Abaddon's recent history. As far as, like, I know that was a whole spiel.
Comparing her to Jinder, where I was saying Jinder had been at least on NXT, wins or losses, hadn't won. Abaddon had been away. She came back for a Halloween street fight, which she lost. Then got thrown in a 4-way dance where she won and got champion. And yeah, we complained about that because I'm like, how does because this is the standard you set, Tony. How did somebody lose a match and then get input into a women's 4-way dance to become a number one contender for the women's title? Whether it's a match that gets them there or whether it's a storyline, Jinder, who has all this history, we built it up. We've told you the history of Jinder. He comes out and attacks Seth Rollins from behind. Seth Rollins is going to want revenge. I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah.
He's going to want revenge against Jinder in this situation, so why not make it a title match? So I don't get why we need to rage against WWE because, well, regardless, I may not be a big fan of Jinder. I'm not really excited about Jinder, but I know Jinder's getting fed to Seth Rollins. It's a meaningless match. It's busy work for Seth Rollins. What am I going to rage about? At least they gave me a reason. Jinder and Seth had a great promo back and forth there. Jinder's been a former world champion. Abaddon's never been a champion in AEW. I mean, Tony, you want to talk about who's the double standard? Because why aren't you raising that Jinder just gets to walk? He didn't just walk on TV. He's been on NXT, so he's been around. Just because he hasn't been on the main roster having matches, he won a match on October 1st against Julius Creed, so he hasn't lost every match last year. But I mean, I don't know, gentlemen, your thoughts on this show? On this, not this show, but this. Go ahead.
Ordeal.
Yeah.
The first thing that doesn't make sense to me is why is he concentrating on another show? I mean, yes, you want to know your competition, you want to know what you're up against. But why is he putting over the competition, essentially? Why are you worried about what's happening with Jinder when you need to be working on your own bloody show?
Because he's worried about this double standard that the fans aren't outraged at WWE for letting Jinder have a title match. I think this also stems from the... I believe this... I believe this also comes off because Hook wants a title shot against Samoa Joe and announced that on a collision in a promo package somewhere down the road, not immediately. And I think fans kind of got triggered, like, what has Hook done to win it? And of course, he has to go on Hook's 28-1. Why is Hook 28-1? Because you booked him that way. Wins or losses, that's his booking. That's his protection. Is Hook good? Hook's a great character. I love Hook. Not going to take anything away from Hook. Is Hook still green? Yes, Hook's still green. Could he have a good match with Joe? Yeah, but is he ready to be on that level? Not really.
No.
Could he hang on the main event? No. Who in the main event has he faced? One-on-one. Come on, Tony. Come on. Tell me who Hook's faced. That's main event level, one-on-one. Go ahead.
I'm gonna bank it right there. I'm gonna bank it on this real quick. I think Tony Khan's bored. His football season's done for him, as far as he's concerned. Jacksonville's not in the playoffs, so he needs something better. He needs something else to do.
Well, I can't help that Jacksonville chokes in the last few minutes. I mean, that's on them. Cry me a river.
I'm trying to give the man the benefit of the doubt, but like this is ridiculous.
He got that board that easily. They just lost on Sunday, and I mean now he's throwing a fit.
Going after Eric Bischoff, like that's I don't know. Of all people.
Well, I mean,
a lesson to take from Vince McMahon, it's stay the bleep off of Twitter. Outside of promotional reasons, see, there's no reason that Tony Khan, he himself, needs to be on Twitter. He has a promotional department that should be doing whatever that needs to get the word out, the show out, the announcements out. He himself does not need to be on Twitter.
You know, he's on there for pats on the back, for guys to sit there and pat him on the head, say, "Good boy, you did a good job today."
Could Tony Khan screwed himself and just made Jinder Mahal the biggest babyface? Is Jinder Mahal going to come out next week on Raw and get a huge ovation and a pop just to spite a Tony Khan?
He's going to get a hero's welcome.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Still look at Jinder the way they look.
Right. But here's the thing too, and I just seen it.
Fans that would definitely give him a pop for that.
I just seen Cash Wheeler stick his 2 cents in it, and
well, I know
Eric Bischoff.
Dax Hardwood too.
Like,
yes.
I'm like, dude, you guys are a joke too, and you could thank your booker for that.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. Hook's 28-1 because that's how Tony Khan's booked him.
Mm-hmm. And just TK, my dude. Do something with yourself and stop attacking. You're about as bad as your women's division right now, doing the same thing.
Oh, but his women's division's great. He has the best women's division in all of pro wrestling. Come on, Tony Khan. Everything's great. The world is great. Everything is great. Great stuff, because that's what they're doing down there. And Tony Khan's getting mad because the USA Network, not WWE, not a wrestler, not Jinder Mahal, not Seth Rollins, nobody. The USA Network made a weird statement, and he shoot.
My 12-year-old's a better worker than half of AEW's roster.
See, it's not the talent to me. It's the booking of the talent.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where you go or think. I cannot believe this tweet is real. Somebody followed, when they said Hook's 28-1 in his a career record. So Hook's only had 29 matches, and he's been in the ring for how long now? And you want to try and compare him against Jinder Mahal? Hey.
If you want a main event name that you want to compare Hook to, the closest comparison you can make is Goldberg. And even he, early on in his career, was against lower card guys.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Jade Cargill.
Absolutely.
Same thing.
Jade works.
Yeah, Jake Cargill was completely protected and left.
Yep.
It's insane. And it's got the whole wrestling world talking. Tony Khan, again, with controversy, he's got the whole wrestling world talking about him. If that's what he wanted, cool.
He took
he pulled a cornet.
He took the wrong lesson from controversy creates cash. Because he's not creating cash with this.
No, it's creating more controversy that people are just like, we're tired of hearing it. It's like the situation with Chris Jericho that they won't acknowledge, they won't answer, they won't do anything with. It's the same old thing with Tony. He gets himself in deep and then he tries to back out and he can't be taken seriously. Here's somebody's post. This is great. Meanwhile, Hook has performed on a show bigger than any WrestleMania. Because he performed on the 0 hour of All In. I don't know who that came from. AEW KHVN. Swerve and I is what they call themselves. But yeah, they're saying Hook. Somebody is sadly mistaken. Meltzer.
I can't even begin to comment on that. Like, really?
So Bischoff said, "Oh, kid, my reading comprehension skills are wizard-like." By the way, that one was one of Dave Meltzer's wicked comebacks whenever you get called out on his BS. Coincidence, or are you really that deep? And Dave Meltzer had to get into this freaking situation because he's not happy. He goes, "Dude, sorry, I prepped you for that Landsberg interview where you made the claim about how you averaged 5,400 tickets sold the prior year and bragged about it. The guy didn't have Hogan, Flair, Savage, or Piper and has the double the ticket price and equals your numbers. One of us actually studies number, the other calls names because he can't remember nor has any research capabilities." All over this. So Meltzer and Bischoff are into it. It's ridiculous. I mean, why? My question would be to Tony, why even say anything? Why did you need to even start anything? Why was there a need to add 2 cents to something that didn't have anything? Corey Graves, again, with his tweet, "Gender rules." Corey Graves.
Corey just likes to troll. He's fun with that.
And AEW is the safest place. It's the safest wrestling company. They are safe. Yeah.
I'm looking at all these tweets, and I don't see anyone really backing up Tony as far as the fan base. They're jumping down his throat and saying he needs to start booking his TV better.
And he's got 2 fucking companies to work with.
Fed fans getting mad at Tony when he's just clapping back. This ain't clapping back. This is just ignorancy that doesn't need to be anything, and this is what hurts Tony. Tony, you go out here on a rant and a rage instead of just going and writing and doing wrestling, doing this show, doing what you used to do really well at. Now that you lost, you're worried about a double standard. You want the fans to come out and say, "Oh, Jinder versus Seth isn't fair." They made it make sense. They gave us a story. We may not like that story, but I don't really have anything to rage about. It's a match. Why do we rage when we see?
Are you 12? Tony, are you 12 years old? Like, I can go all day. Like, I'm gonna get some pop. I'm gonna get my dinner here in a little bit, and I'm gonna go over these and just laugh because some of these are. I gotta admit, the wrestling fans are creative.
Jeffrey Loss on Twitter said this: Cornette, Bischoff trash AEW, then have biased journalists like Hausman who put out false stories. Then you throw in all the other garbage from the IWC on here or the Twitter pages of USA Network and Fox that take shots. But it's bad when Tony Khan defends himself. Make it make sense.
Yes, dude, make it make sense. Tony didn't need to defend anything.
There was no attack on Tony here. This didn't have anything to do with Tony. I mean, I don't know where the attack came from. That's what I'm not seeing. I mean, I don't know what
I had to throw something on there too. I was like,
what did you throw in there?
I said, "Hey Tony, why don't you worry about Chris Jericho? Take care of business first."
And then everybody's getting mad because everybody's coming out defending Jinder. This ain't about defending Jinder. Does Jinder deserve a world title match? No. But do they at least give us a storyline? And we basically know that it's not anything serious. It's not anything to get this worked up over. It's Jinder fucking Mahal. And you, Tony Khan, are making Jinder more over than WWE did in his freaking WWE title run. I mean, you're getting Jinder Mahal more attention than he's had his whole professional wrestling career. That's the facts. And you want outrage from us because we're looking at it. Me and Mr. Clark sat here when we saw it on Raw. We were like, okay, they had a good promo package. We're getting Jinder Mahal versus Seth Rollins.
Oh, no, I sat in on it. I was listening.
And we're like, cool. He's getting fed to Seth Rollins. Like, we don't put any stock in the fact that they're wrestling. Will they have a good match? I hope they have a good wrestling match in the ring. But the rest of it is like, it's giving Seth Rollins something to do till we get to Rumble. And Jinder's there. Mm-hmm. They might spin a storyline out of it. I don't necessarily know. Will this be more than one match? Maybe, maybe not. I doubt it. But did we really feel like there was a need to get upset? Was there a reason to be like, oh, why is Jinder getting a match? Because he attacked Seth Rollins from behind. Don't hinder Jinder. Yes.
Everything is predetermined, but we want to act like it's real. Make up your mind, people. None of this. It's real to me, damn it.
It's still real to me, damn it.
But why Alyssa with a blue check mark on Twitter says, Tony, you're a multi-billionaire. Hire a competent PR team and stop tweeting like a perpetuant child.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Why don't you? There's Miguel's tweet. Yay. And Jinder comes out and goes, Hook who? Which is a shame because Hook is a good. Hook's got skill and he's going to be something special when his time comes. Is he there yet? No. I mean, it's nowhere near that. But I mean, we are just so wild and out that today's topic is Jinder Mahal. The rage is Jinder Mahal. Do we get this? That Jinder Mahal is making breaking news. It's breaking Twitter. That Jinder Mahal is trending.
Why do I have a feeling that mine and your tweet is going to get us blocked by Tony Khan? I
just told Tony he was wrong. I looked it up. Jinder Mahal had to win. You can't say the man had to win for 364 days.
He's never wrong. Look what the fans say about him. He's never wrong.
Somehow, Jinder is getting over by simply just doing his job.
Wow! Imagine that. You got over by doing your job.
Nick Hausman's coming out. I say that I'll say what everyone's thinking. Put the WWE Championship on Jinder Mahal. No.
There now, but
oh man, I'm just going over.
Backup Hangman on Twitter. Backup Hangman. Off the heels of all of this, I think now would be a great time for Tony Khan to bring back the rankings and reestablish a system where everything has to be earned. Win and losses should always be consequential to a wrestler's immediate trajectory, and this is a great time to hammer this back home following the Continental Classic. Yes, with everything being said, I mean, Tony, you even threw out your whole ranking system there. So
I like this one. It says TK bruh, don't go out like this. Like
Jinder Mahal just became the biggest babyface in wrestling. Almost could be the sad direction that we're going. Eric Bischoff saying on the 26th of December, AEW is TNA all over again. And the sad part is, I hate to say that, but the way Tony Khan's going, Tony Khan is reminding me of people like a Dixie Carter who doesn't know what they're doing in the seat and trying to prove themselves where they don't need to necessarily prove themselves. The proof is find the people that can help you do it right. Not go out here and try to be Mr. I can do it all on my own. It's just, it's insane that we are sitting here tonight to have to talk about Jinder Mahal getting a title match that set a rage off because USA Network said something about cagematch.net.
Wait. Oh, reading would be your friend Eric. Like, come on. Now.
Yes.
Let's calm down, Tony.
Nick
Calm down,
Hausman
Tony.
Nick Hausman comes out and says, "I feel like this is only going to improve the viewership for Rollins versus Mahal and the subsequent cage match rating for the whole damn thing." I think Tony Khan is pushing everybody to go watch it just cause they want to see if it's going to be good or bad. It's a shame. Tony Khan, you need to know when to just shut your mouth. There was no need. Somebody's made a meme of AEW Dynamite Homecoming. The lost every single match in the past year. Jinder Mahal versus 28-1 FTW champion Hook happening at AEW Dynamite Homecoming. Yes, yay. People are going nuts over this. This is going to be insane. I mean, hire a PR person, Tony. Tony, I think you just need to hire a person.
Better yet, Tony, just
Patrick the heel comes out and says Jinder Mahal is 2-8 in his last 10 televised WWE matches. Daniel Garcia is 3-7 in his last 10 televised AEW matches going into his title match with MJF. Book Daniel Garcia better, by the way. Y'all do that dumb shit too after. Yeah, see, Tony, you do the same thing. Why did Daniel Garcia get a title match out of the blue?
Because he danced for him.
Yeah. Isn't that the freaking...
It starts to make you wonder.
Oh,
it's dancing too, but come on now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to hear what Jim Cornette's going to say about all this. It's going to be very, very interesting.
Jeez, Tony.
I don't know. Here we go.
It's up.
Here we go again. Remember when Hook made his entrance at All In front of a world record-setting crowd? I don't even think it wasn't even a world record-setting crowd. I don't think they broke attendance-wise what some other events have done. They just sold the most tickets. That's all that really turned out to be.
And on the flip side of all that is, what does that matter? What does that have to do with the topic at hand?
Because that's the last...
Hook's great. I like Hook too, but that had nothing to do with what's being talked about.
That's the last wet dream Tony Khan has to hold on to, that he sold out the biggest wrestling event in history. And he will hold...
even bringing up Hook.
Well, because they're bringing up Hook in this. I mean, I get they're talking about Hook and All In, but it's people on that side that are bringing up the AEW. Look what they did on one night. Okay, so they sold out at a venue one night. and congratulations, they're 100 tickets away from possibly selling out Revolution. But Tony Khan hasn't done anything. The only reason people are buying those tickets is for Sting. Now, other people can go on here and go, well, it's good for AEW. But, I mean, it's not like AEW is doing anything else than the fact that people are going to watch Sting retire. And it's in Greensboro, North Carolina, which was heavy for WCW in the days. Heavy for that time Everest thing. So there's a lot of fans that are going to go watch that in that building. So you can call it a victory for AEW, but, I mean, it's on the back of Sting.
I think what cracks me up about the AEW fan is they'll sit there and try to troll about attendance, and they're taking pictures of when the doors first open at a WWE show. Like, oh, look at all the seats. Yeah, folks, doors just opened.
It's just crazy that
one in the production area.
It's just crazy.
And as we've said over and over, we want AEW to do well. They have a fantastic roster. It's starting at the top, who's looking like the payaso, who's making the rest of the company look bad. It's his booking. It's not the talent. I do not blame any one member of the talent.
It's not about the talent. And Hook's a great wrestler. He's been booked the way he's been booked to look good and cover up some of his weaknesses. As much as Goldberg was booked to cover up his weaknesses. But that comes down to the booker. So why do we need the rage about Jinder Mahal when it's the trivial, the fact that we've got this whole thing blowing up because of Jinder Mahal getting a title match? I don't know.
Man.
It's
Yeah,
insanity
we
to
got
really
someone in the
think.
comic. How you doing over there?
And it's not like the first title match he's ever had in his WWE career.
What's up, Esteban? Welcome to the party. Lade dade. Go ahead, sir.
We all knew, like we said earlier, it's busy work. But it's not like the first, WWE title match he's ever had. World Heavyweight, WWE title, whichever, He has a match. He puts over the champion. That's his role.
Mm-hmm.
What are you worried about? Like I said, he's getting over. He's getting heat, or not even heat, but I mean, he's getting all this buzz for doing his job.
Okay.
Hey, Hunter, why don't just out of spite go ahead and put the belt on Jinder just to piss everybody off?
No, shush.
That's
Shush.
going a little too far, bud.
Shush.
Even on a special edition.
I gotta have one, right?
But so it looks like I stand corrected. On the October 27th episode of Rampage, Abaddon became the number one contender for the AEW Women's Championship after defeating Anna Jay, Sky Blue, and Willow Nightingale in a four-way match. This marked Abaddon's first televised appearance for nearly 2 years. So she came out of nowhere, got put in a four-way dance to win the Women's Championship, to get a match for the Women's Championship, and that's when the Halloween trick-or-treat debacle happened. That's right. So Tony Khan saying that, oh, look, she earned the shot, but she also hadn't been appearing on TV, so there is really no difference. She had a match coming from nowhere. Jinder had a story to build around to go there, and he wants to complain about this being the double standards here.
Well, according to some sources that follow Ring of Honor, she's been there the whole time. So, but yeah, like you said, not on TV.
So was she on episodes of Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
Okay. That's nice, but that still doesn't help the AEW fan know that.
Exactly. I'm just justifying where she's been for the last couple of years. She's been on Ring of Honor TV, just not on TV, and that's just.
Here's what you need to worry about, Tony Khan.
Bro.
On X, Tony Khan, listen to this. This is what you need to focus on. Wrestle Tickets. Wrestle Tickets is out right now, as of 13 hours ago. AEW Dynamite Rampage, Wednesday, January 10, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. Live from Daly's Place, Jacksonville, Florida. They're about to have a sellout. There are 4 tickets away, but the venue is only 2,619 people. Go pay attention to that crowd. Focus on that crowd. To, make a good show. Since you have to have 1, 2, 3, we have 3 multi-person tag matches tomorrow night. We have the men's 8-man, the women's 8-man, and then the Darby Allin Sting. Oh no, it's a tag team. Sorry, I see Ric Flair in the background. I thought it was a thing. And then you have a tag team match of Sting and Darby Allin versus Take a Shit and Powerhouse Hobbs. And this is the show you're presenting. Go make that a good show and quit worrying about what WWE is doing with Jinder Mahal. And it wasn't even WWE; it was the USA Network. That's the other crazy thing. You're worried about what the USA Network's posting at. You don't even have connections to the USA Network.
I totally agree with the comment right there. This thing is Tony be talking way too much. I totally agree with you, brother.
Eric Bischoff calling Tony Khan a clown for tweeting something while he had WCW commentators read WWE spoilers live on air tells you all you need to know about how unstable and out of touch he is. There's a difference here. See, I know a lot of people are trying to point to Eric Bischoff and going, "Oh, you did dirty things." It was a different time.
He was in the middle
and
of
a different
that
era, and he actually competed with WWE, and he was actually, did it, and that was a way to compete. It wasn't a whiny, crying little kid going on Twitter and complaining that a TV network said something that offended him.
Read the name of the show. 83 weeks. That's how long he put WWE into the ground. Thank you. The comment just earned it right there. Thank you.
Spurs Yankee. Oh gosh, what's up? This thing is trending. Tony be talking too much. Eric going off on his podcast on 83 Weeks tomorrow. I bet he will. Of course, I'm confused with that type of screen name. Spurs Yankees
Right
fan.
now, or else he'd be going off.
Oh, he'll be up.
Because, I mean, Eric Bischoff at least talks about the business of professional wrestling. I understand why people listen to Cornette. He can be entertaining, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yes.
Yeah, but when a ridiculous ass clown like Tony Khan comes out and does this dumb stuff, he makes Tony Khan, or he makes Jim Cornette sound intelligent and like he's right. Tony Khan makes him right. Tony Khan feeds into Jim Cornette. He lets Jim Cornette get celebrated. He's going to make Jim Cornette repopularize. Hell, at the rate Tony Khan's going, Jim Cornette might just show up on WWE TV for a short-term deal. No, not that he has any desire to do anything long-term, but good God.
He's gonna be due when he would come up on screen and say his piece.
But I mean, Jesus. I mean, he might be willing to do his thing where he used to do, where he just said, you know what really grinds my gears, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, no, Tony has something stupid to say off of something stupid that USA Network. Exactly. This is a trigger. Nobody in WWE said anything. It was the USA Network that triggered this whole shebang, this whole shabacle, and Tony Khan had a conniption fit and felt like he needed to go on a rant and prove what? I don't know what he wanted to prove. That I guess he wants to attack the fans. So it's not just the female wrestlers of AEW. It's Tony Khan wants to attack the fans, saying, "Oh, you guys aren't outraged. You're not defending me. You're not out there doing my work for me." That's
AEW is not ECW, and there's no grounds for it.
Oh no. Oh, I don't know. I just don't know anymore.
Yeah, Jinder said Hook who, which I'm kind of like, I get from Jinder's perspective, but Hook still doesn't need just necessarily that.
But it also works for Jinder's character.
Yes.
Yeah, that worked good. Yeah, he played into this nice on that one. I give him that one. Oh man, I'm gonna have an entertaining night tonight. I'm just gonna be sitting here reading and just questioning. Why.
No, it's a level of just I don't know where or why or how we got here at any point in time. And we thank you for joining the chat. And if you want to join it, give your 2 cents. If you disagree with us, that's perfectly fine. We're okay with that. We're not going to go twitting mad if you don't agree with us. We're not going to get enraged and go off on a nuttail unless you say something really funky. I mean, if you come off the wrong way, we might use it and spin it. I mean,
it's my job to get fired daily, so don't take that from me. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no, Collision is doing like half the ratings. Rampage is down. Dynamite's the only thing that's basically holding things somewhat together. But even this week, I'm looking at Dynamite going, is there anything really on that show that I even give a do about? Because, I mean, Tony Khan doesn't do anything to, make it feel important. At least WWE. I mean, why are we going to watch Jinder Mahal versus Seth Rollins? Well, because Jinder attacked Seth from behind. We got a storyline, so we want to see Seth beat his butt. So we're going to be back next week. What does Tony Khan give us on any Dynamite to make us come back for the next week? The devil? Is that what he did? But that was like sporadically here and there. That wasn't every week. And then we got a reveal that was like, nah. Everybody can defend it and say it was a great reveal. It was perfect. It was the way it should have gone. Bladgy, whatever. It was flat. It was a fact. The crowd did not get behind it.
That's because there was nothing added to it. There's nothing to sink your teeth into.
Well, and it doesn't. If you look back at it and review it again, it really didn't make sense. Why didn't Adam Cole cost MJF the title, help Samoa Joe do it, and solidify that relationship? Joe could have gone off on his way, but the fans were kind of lackluster because of the way the match ended. And then you had Adam Cole in there going, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're da 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 da," and then a flip of a flip, and you're like, "Oh, hit me!" And it was very confusing. And then when he took out the mask, you're like, "Why? What? Couldn't anything been better?" And then when you saw that when Wardlow was involved, you're like, "Oh!" And then you hear the final, "Oh, Wardlow's going to get the world title." Then when I get back from injury, he's going to give it to me. Like, okay, well, let's rehash the same thing over and over again. Wardlow's just a bitch to everybody. And Wardlow, if you don't like what I say, well, sorry about your damn luck. WWE's doing something. Think about it. Jay didn't even effing debut yet. When she debuts, that will stick it to Tony even more. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
No, Triple H has already came out. No, Triple H has already came out and addressed that he is making sure she is ready for this stage, that she's ready to be on this level. And, if she's not ready and they don't have everything critiqued for her, then great. Don't put her on TV until you're absolutely ready to debut her. Mm-hmm. Just like when they brought over Brian Pillman until they got Brian Pillman Jr., until they got him right where they wanted and everything figured out. And that man is hot. I mean, just amazing.
I think it's like, you can talk about Cody Rhodes being that first shot, if you will. The other side of that argument, however, is that he's a previous WWE guy. But now you look at Alexis King, you look at Jade Cargill, who's more over by not wrestling than she has been in her whole time in AEW.
And she was only good in AEW because she only won. She never lost until she lost the title, and then she was gone. Yes, I can understand where the bloodline, they kind of dropped the ball, letting Jimmy back in. It was kind of a weird way to get where we got to. And Jimmy's kind of the outside. He's in the doghouse still. And if you look at it that way, then it's a little okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, the story's ran a little bit of its course. It's getting a little tiresome. It kind of needs its give. And hopefully we'll figure that out. We're on the road to WrestleMania. That time is coming. But hey, Jade is more over than anybody. Anybody that's jumping over from AEW to WWE is getting the special treatment. I mean, look at the guys that are being talked about that have left AEW that even showed up. But Shawn Spears, for an example, is a big name that's getting a lot of attention. People are interested in seeing him return to WWE. Andrade, everybody waiting for Andrade to return. QT Marshall, even more over leaving AEW than he was in AEW. And here's another question. Why didn't Shelton Benjamin? Why hasn't Ali? Why hasn't Nick Nemeth? Why hasn't Matt Riddle? All these people that got released, and even Elias or Elisha now, why haven't any of these guys showed up in AEW? Now, some of those guys, maybe Tony Khan's not interested, but why is Nick Nemeth going to New Japan Pro Wrestling? Why is Matt Riddle wanting to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling and not dance? And not dance in AEW? Of course, Riddle did come out and say he doesn't really have an interest in AEW. He wants to do New Japan and Pro Wrestling and MLW because he really doesn't want to do the TV thing, which is fine and dandy. But Nick Nemeth, you have Ryan Nemeth, which was under I don't know if he was under an AEW. I don't think he's all elite. He just was there. But you didn't get Nick Nemeth to come to AEW. He looks like he's solidifying himself in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Mm-hmm. The Page solo turns on Roman. I will jump for joy. I can't wait for that. If Young Bucks come to WWE, that will be interesting. It's not too far-fetched as they and Kevin Owens are boy. The Young Bucks, from what I understand, are not even happy at AEW. From what I've heard, the Young Bucks aren't even happy in AEW, and they're coming back with their weird gimmick, whatever. I don't know if they'll go to WWE now, because I don't know how zealous they are really of CM Punk, because in AEW, they can be who they want to. They go to WWE, they're going to have to do what WWE, the machine, their bosses tell them to do. They're not going to be able to be like, oh, we're in charge. So, I mean, that's a different story.
TNA flashbacks. When they were Generation Me, they had to do what their bosses said.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. Once there's more to the story about I forget what her name is, Matt Jackson's wife leaving AEW than Dana Massey. There's something more to that. It's really interesting. It seems like she left, but it seems like she left on her own terms. But it still seems that Matt Jackson and the Young Bucks are not happy.
We all do.
Cody has an issue. Cody has kind of pinpointed it down that it's more something that Tony did. That's what I got. Something that Tony did. We know
NDA. damn it.
Oh, hold on. Be careful what you talk about. NDAs. Then we have to start talking Kylie Ray and Mr. No NDAs ever, Chris Jericho.
Oh, that's why I just tweeted Tony. Worry about Chris
Liar.
Jericho. Like, stop worried about everything else.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. Tony Khan taking a page out of Jericho's book and making up lies. No. I mean, Tony, you come out at your scrum at the end of the year and talk about being the safest place in wrestling. You're the safest. You'll put your safety up against any other company, and it's the safest anywhere. And you're like, everybody going, you're full of shit. I mean, you can't be sitting there with the. Of course, I guess
company's about as safe as me getting out of bed in the morning. There's a 90% chance I'm gonna get hurt.
But I mean, how do you come out and say? Of course, he's wearing the hat and the glasses that Tony Storm gave him, and then he's looking like an idiot fool. And he's coming out here going, "We're the safest place. I'm the safest wrestling company. I'll put it up against any wrestling company." And you're like going, "That don't seem that viable to me in that resort," because it's like, yeah, no, you can't necessarily say that. Well, okay, that's probably why. I see a little green. All right. I mean, I don't know how you say safe when you just told us like months ago that you were afraid for your life. And to give this whole speech about being the safest place, are you the safest place from harassment? Like, what type of, is it only you're the safest place from sexual harassment then? Is that what you're telling us? Because wouldn't what happened between Punk and Jungle Boy, Jack Perry be harassment?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go ahead, Mr. Clark.
The sunglasses, wearing the hat at the scrum, trying to talk about serious issues. I only got 2 words for you. Peachy Payaso.
You know, I think my wife has that hat and sunglass combo, man. I'm gonna have to wear that on air one day.
And I'm going to, for the English translation, I'm going to dumb it down a little bit, but I'm basically calling him a freaking clown.
He is.
Oh, he is.
I'm wondering if he was at the NWA show where Father James Mitchell had that segment with that little bit of snow.
I'm telling you, he's behind it. Here, guys, have a party favor.
Be careful, be careful, be careful.
Yes, we're jesting about that. We do not mean it seriously. We do not think he was actually there. Or at least attempting to.
I don't know if he's lost MJF. MJF is injured. I believe he's still under contract. I think they're just playing games to make it more hyped up, and I think they're going to destroy that storyline, even in that scenario, as it goes.
Good shit, pal.
No shit. It's just you draw. You know what, Tony? This is what you need to do every time you want to get on Twitter and rant. This is exactly what you need to think.
Yep.
And then you'll be okay. Don't tweet, Tony. Just don't Twitter X. Just do your normal promote Dynamite, but don't respond to stuff that's not important. You just made yourself look like a bigger fool than ever before. Gentlemen, any last remaining thoughts? We've gone on an hour. I think we've beaten this dead horse, but let's give our final thoughts here. Well, thank you for joining us, Spurs Yankees fan. Not necessarily a big fan of your screen name, but we appreciate you for being here and join us on the next one. Mr. Clark, your final thoughts.
Again, really, as much as we're joking around, as much as we're trying to give some kind of criticism, some kind of constructive criticism to Tony Khan, we do want to see AEW succeed.
Yes.
But again, it starts at the top. So fix yourself.
Exactly.
Before you wreck yourself.
Mr. Z, your final close.
What's your father's dead?
No, you know, I just please focus. I know football season's over and you got to rethink that process, but please just make your company better. We want an
Both
alternative.
of them.
Both of them. We want an alternative. Give us what we want. Give the wrestling fans what we want. An option. That's all we want is an option.
Go back to what you started building this company on, being the alternative, being something different, giving us decent wrestling along with decent storylines. Make it make sense. Give us something that we can follow and quit worrying about what WWE is doing and get on your own level. Because guess what? Do you know who's banging at your door on September 13th? Who's ready to get into competition? You got TNA, the Rebirth, and they've already told you we're here to play, and they want to be on the level, and they've got money, and they've been trying to make moves, and they will eventually make these moves that are going to open doors, and you're going to have somebody else to worry about. You're on the level with them. You're not on the level with WWE yet.
Not that this is a dumb thought, but maybe he might show up. You think Tony Khan will be there Saturday?
No, he's got Collision. He's got Collision going on. It's Battle of the Belts 9. I told you this. On the same night as TNA, he's going to be doing Battle of the Belts 9. So Tony Khan's going to be there. He's going to be sitting in Gorilla doing everything, hoping that he doesn't have to be afraid for his life ever again.
On top of that, Tony Khan, when he was working with TNA, or Impact Wrestling at the time, big league them. He thinks he's above them. He's too good. Look at the way Kenny Omega was used when he was Impact Wrestling champion. Yeah, sure, he was technically on the show here and there.
How are you going to have Battle of the Belts and your continental crown, your triple crown, whatever, is defending that belt on a New Japan show? Battle of the Belts, I would assume all of them.
So Tony Khan's not only competing on one level with TNA, he's also competing against New Japan Pro Wrestling because it's going to be on Fight. We know that show's going to be on Fight. It's the Battle of the Valley. It's their big U.S. show. It's one of their big U.S. shows. And Tony Khan's choosing to do a Battle of the Belts on that same night against these two events. And his ratings already suck for TV. But gentlemen, I got some breaking news for the value of wrestling. We started tonight's show at 199 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. We've hit 201 in the 1 hour we've been on. We've added 2 subscribers. We've reached 200. Thank you for everybody who's subscribed. Thank you for joining the Value of Wrestling family. Make sure you share this video out with friends, family, and everybody who loves professional wrestling. Let's get it out there. We want to continue to grow. The march to 1,000 is on. We have broken to 100, which is awesome to feel, awesome to get to. But we are not going to give up. That's why we come on here and do these special, packages. We do these special shows. You never know. That's why we have Break It Down, because anything's possible. And this was not a planned show. This was just kind of, we need to talk about this. And that's what we came here to do. And we broke it down.
This is pretty much a conversation we have amongst ourselves off air that
sort of
needed to be out.
Sort of a little cleaned up, a little safer for the air. I won't lie.
You ain't got to lie to kick it.
Look, CK, we don't hate you. We don't hate Tony Khan. We don't hate AEW. We'd love to love AEW, but right now it's just not hitting the stride that we need. And a lot of people are not covering AEW anymore. It's falling off. There's one commentator that I think is I don't know the way he supports AEW like he does. I don't know if he's on the payroll some days. Of course, some people call him a WWE shield, but I'm like, I don't know. There's just something there. But hey, we won't get into that.
Send Marty after him.
Anyways, Tony, we just want you to be successful, and I think the biggest thing is quit worrying about what WWE is doing, what they're tweeting, when it's not even WWE, it's the USA Network, and let's focus on fixing AEW, fixing the potholes, fixing the bumps. You're doing some good things. You're kind of getting the women's division back up. Of course, this week with an 8-women's tag match that doesn't make sense. Like, if you want to focus on the wrestling aspect, that's great. But you still got to give us some reason some of these people are coming together to work with one another. I mean, can you explain why we have a tag match with Dustin Rhodes, Adam Copeland, Orange Cassidy, and Preston Vance? Like, how did you come up with these 4 guys to be on a team against...
heels and baby faces don't matter.
Jeez.
Well, it apparently doesn't because Swerve, who's supposed to look like the biggest heel, is about to be the biggest babyface in the company.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, look at the dance. That's what gets everyone going.
So, I mean, that's not even the dance. The Swerve is great in character, but I mean, when you punk out Hangman like that, I mean, how do you not become a babyface when Hangman looks like a punk and looks like the biggest heel coming out of that match now? Because he got destroyed, and then you have Hangman versus Claudio Castagnoli, and you're like, cool. Am I supposed to be excited to see Hangman versus Claudio Castagnoli? In-ring work, separate. Okay, the in-ring work, it'll be a good match, yes, but I mean, why do I care about these two? Why is this going to be? Why is this being sold like your main event for the evening? Like, this is your match. This is why I should watch Dynamite. Claudio versus Hangman. Like, why?
I will defend that a little bit because for some fans, it is just the wrestling. It's the in-ring storytelling as opposed to the promos, as opposed to the vignettes they could do.
Well, I mean, look what just happened on. I mean, look at the big meat slapping match we had on Monday. I mean, there's just something people like to see.
Yes. No, and I get that. The wrestling aside.
Why did I enjoy? I'm forgetting his first name. Kaiser.
Mm-hmm.
Ludwig Kaiser.
Ooh, yes.
Thank you, Ludwig Kaiser.
Just think of Koopa, Bowser, Ludwig.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So why did I enjoy that match so much? And it didn't have the greatest story going in, but I enjoyed it in ring.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, because a lot of times, I understand for you what it is, but for some fans, it is just the in-ring work.
No, I know. And the in-ring, it should be.
That's how Chris Benoit got over, period.
Yeah.
In his time.
Yes.
I know the name you're not supposed to mention. I get it.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It's a touchy subject. I just kind of stay clear of that because it's you know, I kind of go on the level of Paul Heyman in that story. If you ever seen Paul Heyman's feed on that when he was doing an interview and somebody called Benoit his boy and Paul Heyman kind of
ropes.
Yeah, inside the ropes. Heyman went off on that. In ring, professional career, one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Person could care less about him, and that I stand with Heyman. I mean.
That's fair.
Yeah, that is fair.
I agree with Heyman. I don't think you can justify his actions, and you know that squandered his legacy. His in ring, great, but yeah, I would never say he's my boy because what happened over trumps a lot of other things. So
plus that whole guilty by association mentality.
Yeah.
No. Now, if his son, David Benoit, wants to come out and be a professional wrestler, I wish him the best of luck. That's going to be a hard uphill battle. I know he's talked about using the Chris Benoit Jr. name. I don't know if that's the way to go. Go be David Benoit. Be yourself because you're going to have to create somebody away from him. Will a lot of wrestling fans give you the benefit of the doubt with the Benoit name when they focus on wrestling? Yeah, somewhat, but I think it's going to be really hard. Of course, I've never seen him do anything or really hurt his name anywhere big time that, you know, I don't know. I don't know if WWE wants to touch him because his last name's Benoit or if he's just not really that good at what he does at wrestling, you know.
Right.
Because I haven't heard. Yeah.
Real quick before we get out of here, someone sent me a video and I've never seen it, but it's the first time. I guess they're saying Alberto in front of a crowd of 50.
Yeah,
and he
no.
said, what about a fall from grace?
Yes. And Tony Khan will be booking matches in a high school gymnasium very soon at the rate he's going. I mean, he has to go back to Daly's place to sell it out. Just to say he had a sellout. So, I mean, it's sad. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to really like just bash Tony, but I mean, when you put yourself in a position like you did today, when you jump out there and rant, you're asking for it. It's just like Jericho when he goes on this rant at 4 a.m. on Christmas Day. That was unnecessary. This is unnecessary, Tony. There was no reason for it. There was no reason to defend yourself. For people who are out here saying, oh, Tony has the right to defend himself. Where is the double standard? He can't defend himself? Yes, he can defend himself, but there's actually something to defend himself against. trying to blend that USA Network is WWE trying to attack Tony Khan by saying what was the rating on Cage Match. I mean, I don't get where the necessity to feel like he had to defend himself or attack the booking of Jinder Mahal in this situation came from. I mean, it's just like that's where my head still spins. I'm like, why did we even need to go down this rainbow road? Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
The final line is this: put your own talent over, not your adversaries, not your competition. You're putting Jinder Mahal over more than your own company, which does not help make you money, does not help the popularity of your company. Stop putting over the other company.
Yeah, it's a sad situation. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Value Wrestling. This has been Break It Down, a special edition right here on the Value Wrestling. The Break It Down is where we get together and have a roundtable discussion about something that's not a particular show or pay-per-view or premium live event, whatever you want to call them. And we just sit here and we talk about it. This has been our third episode. If you want to see more, go check out some of the other Break It Downs where we talk about the releases. That was our last one when WWE had the big releases in the summer. And we hope to do more of these, but we will be here tomorrow night. Me and Mr. Clark at least will be here tomorrow night covering Dynamite and the fallout from that after the fallout of this. And then we will be here Friday with your SmackDown review. And then I think me and Mr. Clark will probably be here on Sunday. Curvin Abreu, who said Tony Khan don't create stars today. Tony Khan make Jinder Mahal election. And we have the official quote of the night. Curvin Abreu, I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize. I'm not the expert at saying names, but you have the comment of the night right there, worth $1 million. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I can say to that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Value Wrestling. This is Break It Down. Make sure you go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Let's give this as many likes as we can possibly get it so we can get it out there into the YouTube stratosphere so many other people can see it. If you're seeing this later, we thank you for taking time out of your busy night to watch us live. But if you're watching this later, we thank you for taking time out of your day to watch our video. And we hope that we will give you a reason to subscribe. So please hit that subscribe button. Ring that bell for notifications because you never know when we're going to pop up with anything randomly, and knowing, being notified, ring that bell, be ready to go. On the big time, that's Paulus Clark. That's Mr. Miguel Z. And we will be back tomorrow night. We're going to break down Dynamite. And hopefully the Dynamite don't go boom. And we thank you for joining us. And until the next one, we are la-di-da-di out of the party. And hopefully everything settles down and we don't have another Twitter rant before tomorrow. Good night.